this, everyone? You're obviously confused and aroused.
Then where are we now? Do you have idiots on your planet?
It's me, Zoidberg, remember from high school?
Hello, you're listening to the Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we will be discussing Futurama Season 2, Episode 3, Xmas Story, with your hosts, Tommy Roulette,
Merry Christmas.
Pete Woodward,
That's me.
and I'm Rick Horchie. Joining us today is our special guest, Ryan Uhl. How's it going, Ryan?
Pretty good. How about you?
Thanks for There was all
I'm
that
doing-
business with the bird outside before you came in. That got a little weird.
Yeah.
But then it ended, I think, better than it could have. We were outside, and
How fitting that we found a dying bird outside for this episode, though.
oh yeah, weird.
Napping.
Oh my
bird.
God! That maybe it knew we were going to be talking about it.
Well, we thought it was dead, and then
It was
looked like it was
actually like
breathing.
a
it was laying on
zombie
its
bird.
back, and it was in like a stiff position. And Tom went to pick it up with a bag, and then it got up and like flew like 4 feet into the air, past me, and then went to the bushes, and then just kind of hanging out over there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Still sitting there. We can check on it.
yeah.
All right.
And here's this delicious snack I made us.
It's more it's more excitement than I can handle for one night. Hey Tom, no cold open on this episode. You were finally right. 17 episodes in.
No. I only said after the first season, and we're 4 episodes into the second season, so there were 2 in the second season that had cold openings.
So Ryan, Tom said it's like 6 or 7 episodes ago that the first season had the cold opens, and then after that they stopped, and then
He was
the
proven
first couple
wrong.
there were, and then we just kept making fun of them. I don't remember which
Yeah,
ones do
I
and which ones
remember
don't.
They
but-
never return.
Because I feel like I've seen so much of the show out of order just back when it used to be on reruns and stuff that like I don't remember when. You
Yeah.
know.
I
But
think
that's Tom's claim.
the only there. I think there is still a, like the brought to you by type cold opening, still because
That's a cold open.
There's one about teeth.
Yeah. No, we got to that, didn't we? Tom
Yeah,
Teeth?
but no like plot line cold open.
Ride the Walrus. But yeah, plotline one.
Yeah,
I-
still
maybe
there's
there aren't
still
any
there's
more of
still a
those.
few more. So I
The space
I was
boat one that
obviously-
hasn't come up yet. That's at the beginning of an episode.
oh yeah. I have to say that out of any TV shows ever, when they do Christmas episodes, they're my least favorite. I don't know, like
Usually, yeah, I'd say that.
maybe I'm a Scrooge, but like,
Are you saying in general, including Futurama?
yes.
So this one you didn't care for very much?
No, there's a lot of enjoyable stuff in the episode, but all in all, it being a Christmas episode ruins it. I'm sorry, Xmas episode.
Ryan, being a Futurama fan, where would you put this on like an A to F scale as far as episodes?
A to A minus.
I would
actually.
say, well, one, it's the first introduction to the Santa Claus, which comes back, I think, almost every
Yeah,
season after it, every Christmas season after.
Yeah, there's at least like 3 or 4 more
So,
appearances.
I
by
mean,
him, right?
compared to those, it's probably, kind of a soft open even
weakest,
for that. And, it seems a little slow in the first 2 seasons. I feel like characterization gets a little stronger. And even in this season, they're still kind of just doing Pratt jokes and
Yeah.
simple fill-ins
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're right when they're starting to get where the episodes are like full of like a lot of quick jokes, but it's just getting there, and getting into where there's a really good like well fleshed out story,
Yeah.
and the characters are getting more fleshed out, but then you'll have something where like Santa's introduced, and like he's only in it for like a couple of minutes, and he doesn't do much. He's just a killer robot, and not like later.
What do you mean he doesn't do much? He goes
He
goes
does
ape
more
shit.
villain stuff later. He's only in the episode for like 2 minutes. He shows up at the end. He's there.
It's
and
a
then
lot more than 2 minutes. It's a lot more than 2 minutes.
And
five-
regardless,
5 minutes
like
out of 23 minutes.
you
like
know,
half the
like
episode.
Blair Witch is only scary for 30 seconds, but those 30 seconds.
I feel like that whole there's everything that's going on in the beginning, and then there's Fry going to get the pet and all that. Like he shows up at the end of the episode. pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's after the pet store.
I'm gonna throw this to you. Right after the pet store, right? When Fry is walking with the bird. I know we're skipping ahead, but there's an alien language sign when he walks past it. And I
Yeah.
wrote it down.
Yeah.
And I write down what time it is. And that's at 12 minutes, 24 seconds into the episode. Right after that, they run into he tries to get the bird, so maybe that's another 5 minutes. So we're looking at maybe 18 minutes into the episode before we get to see.
Oh, see,
Oh my god! If I were a juror right now in the case you're presenting, I just switched
thought-
my.
I'm really disappointed now because I thought that when you said it happens at 12:24, that Santa would appear at 12:25.
No.
Which
that
oh
would've
my
been
God,
good.
they dropped the ball on that shit. That
Welcome
that,
to Worcester, 12:25, please.
the thing about that sign, and again we're jumping ahead. Above that was a Spanish sign, but it was oh God, where is it? It was basically saying closed for Christmas, but it was cuidado. Oh God, para ex Navidad or something like it. They just totally bastardized the whole thing. I can't find it.
I don't
in my
remember
notes.
that at all.
It's cool. We'll have
knows
our Spanish voiceovers for the.
This
is a podcast.
This is driving me nuts now. Where'd it go?
Prosperos años y felicidad.
Oh, come on. Well, I guess we'll find it later, huh?
No, wait. Keep looking. This is
Keep
the
looking.
most interesting part of an episode we've ever done.
It really is.
keep
Do you want to
looking
see me
through your notes.
scrolling up and down through my iPad?
No,
Okay.
so Ryan-
So
oh,
it was
shit.
store closed for Zavidad, if you say it that right. Like instead of
Okay.
Navidad,
Yeah.
it was Xavidad. So it wasn't just Christmas that was truncated down to Xmas officially in the future.
See,
It was
that's an awesome
like
detail,
cross
and I
cultural.
can't believe I didn't notice that. That's great. Good.
A Z instead of an X, or the X in front?
It's an X.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what the alien language sign said?
It says Joyous Noel, but it's like JOYEUX.
So it's for the French,
NOEX. Yeah.
the French spelling
using
of that in
using
Alien.
the X's since it's Xmas now.
Oh,
which-
brother.
That's like a whole that and ask an X that through the entire episode.
Yeah.
I
Lee, though, always using the X.
Our linguistics department was off this week for some holiday that I.
Well, so the Jumbotron cartoon was Christmas themed, but hell if I know what was going on with it. Like it was complete visual gibberish this time.
I forgot
It was
to
like
pay
a
attention.
it was like a moose.
Do you pay attention to the
I
cartoon
didn't
at all?
Catch it
Ryan?
in front of this episode now.
It gets progressively weirder, and it's like I'm just trying to contextualize all of it. I know it's just a snippet of some 60-year-old cartoon, but
Yeah,
like
most of
it's
them.
like what the fuck were they watching?
Do you want
I
to know
think
what it
it's-
is?
Yeah, what is it? Wait. Yes.
No. Yes. No. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.
It's Elmer Fudd in a cartoon called Fresh Hair. HARE.
I remember that one. Yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't have any
Bugs
hair.
Bunny.
No, it's
Bugs Bunny
H-A-R-E.
and Elmer Fudd. I don't know. It's a free use comic.
All right. Just they continue to vex me. It's gonna happen for the next 100+ episodes, I'm sure.
Now here's something. I'm sorry, I have to bring up. It's
Hold on, everybody. It's time for our Now Here's Something with Tom Pavovar.
brought to you by the Funhouse,
Did it-
1539 West
here's
117th
something.
Street. Conan makes a joke to Bender, or saying, "At least I have a soul and freckles." Right?
Uh-huh.
Conan's a ginger.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a soul.
Good.
Right?
Good point. Yeah.
I think this predates all of that memery.
Really?
Yeah.
Gingers had souls up until recently.
You know, it's just
Yeah,
just-
man. Now everybody's just woke about gingers. Like they were the same back then, just because before social media.
I was more taken with how young Conan sounded. His voice just sounded fresh and squeaky clean and not beaten down by life and Jay Leno
By
yet.
NBC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like he was just so joyful to be there. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like being
Like-
on The Simpsons
Like,
again.
oh, I'm on a Matt Groening thing, and I'm doing an animated thing. He just sounded like he was having a good time. I love Conan.
So Bender's a shitty comedy audience member. He's a real
Yeah, he's a
he's just
heckler.
heckling like straight up, and it was sort of. I was kind of disappointed. in
Sort
him.
of. Wait. You mean the Bender, the lovable rascal that
Yes.
is an asshole? Like you were disappointed that he was 100% in
I
character.
I take comedy very seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and I get really upset when people are acting like assholes in an audience.
Who's your favorite character, Ryan?
Probably just Fry. I
Me
like
too.
the straight
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
How do you feel about Bender?
I think he gets better. Right now, it's just bite my shiny metal
Yes.
ass.
Yeah,
at
and that's what.
everything
And I
in
never,
every
I
other
can't
scene.
get that out of my head. Even like when he does have episodes that are Bender centric and they're pretty good, and like he becomes a little more 3-dimensional. I just always think of him as like the oh, he's bad, and then he says something mean, and like that's sometimes his mean jokes are really funny, but most of the time it's like I don't know.
Right now they kind of go to the same material.
I just feel like he's the character that, like, if I was watching it with somebody that doesn't get the
nuance
of some of the better jokes, like if I'm watching it with like my dad or something, and he'll laugh at like a Bender thing. That guy is mean, and
he's a lovable rascal.
I was noting Bender's relationship with the minister robot. Like, they're always getting entangled in different episodes.
I like that he's a reoccurring character.
I was
the
trying to
minister
figure that
robot's
out.
Never like, you're that robot that keeps coming in here
Yeah.
and fucking around.
Is he? It was the same preacher.
Oh yeah.
Or
it's-
do all of the preacher robots just
Yeah,
are
maybe
they the
they're
same
just-
model?
It could be. You're
Yeah,
supposed to think of it
I
as the
was
same
wondering that,
character, though.
too.
I mean, but that's actually, I don't know. I just said that. I pulled that out of my ass like I knew. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have a
maybe it's the
whole
same
thing I wanna-
creature robot on every corner.
I really want to talk about that whole
Liquor
robot
kitchen.
Liquor cake. Yes,
We'll get
Why?
there.
we'll get there.
Did you notice
we'll
they
get there.
spilled Conan when they were carrying him off stage?
Yeah.
And his hair stuck out of the actual tank
When he was just floating and doing
when
his
when
performance?
he was doing his performance.
Is that detrimental to the heads? Because like the Beastie Boys were outside their tanks in the episode they were on. I think wasn't Nixon outside
I'm sure they
his
can
for a little
survive
bit?
for like a little bit.
I mean, you can
like,
pull a
yeah.
fish out of water for a little
I've had
while
spill
without it
fairly often.
dying. You can take a bird out of a sky for a while without it dying, apparently.
I guess.
Who knows what that fluid is, though? It's not like you see anything mechanical ever or anything connecting the fluid.
They have the collars on at the base.
Yeah,
it could
the
be all
collar.
like loaded into there.
Ron Popeil is the inventor of that. No one has asked him about
documented.
it at all.
Because you just set it and forget it. That's all. The so I liked that nuclear winter canceled out global warming. It gives me hope if everything takes a shit in November.
Yeah.
That we might have to deal with nuclear holocaust again, which hasn't really been a serious concern since the 80s. But if that stops all this climate warming,
If you're
we
me
might
and
be
you're
okay.
easily duped by sensationalist media, I'm concerned about it every fucking day I wake up.
nuclear war.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure this out watching when the professor does his big sleeping ski jump. Was that an homage to something?
Not that I know of. Anybody else?
I couldn't put my finger on it.
Anybody else? Tom,
I don't think
Ryan,
anyone sleeps in Better Off
Xanthar.
Dead.
I think it was just why not have him do that and be asleep?
Well, you know
And
what, though?
it
That's
was
kind of a professor thing to do.
No,
like,
it totally is. But it's almost like that whole. I feel like that whole sequence referenced like a Peter Sellers bit or something from way
it
back.
felt like that. I knew what you're
I
talking
don't.
about,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can
put my
see it in
finger
black
on it.
and white.
Yeah,
Like there was a lot of like ski stuff that I kept waiting for.
trees down.
Like a reference to what was the John Cusack movie where he's the ski
Better
Better
off
Off
dead.
Yeah. Like I kept waiting for something in there, and there wasn't really like a big
There wasn't a Charles DeMar to really spice things up.
who?
Booger,
Oh,
Curtis Armstrong.
yeah.
I've never been skiing.
I've never been downhill skiing.
I've never been skiing either.
Have you
Only
cross
just-
country?
Yeah, I've cross country skied.
I've used a Nordic track, so I've cross
There
country
you go.
skied.
Was it a Tony
We've
Little
gone the
one?
same way.
No, I don't know who invented the Nordic track. I thought
That was
The
that's
Swedes.
yeah.
Tony Little, the guy with the long curly mullet,
Right.
and
He had the
that
gazelle.
tight little tan
No,
body.
I don't think he had a curly mullet. I think he had a tight, straight ponytail.
Was it a pony? It was a ponytail. I feel like it was a curly ponytail. Yeah.
Don't they all curl up a little bit once you get them tied up?
How about Amy?
I'm curled up a
liking
little
the,
right now.
Going for the really injured guy.
That
'Cause that's the bad boy.
Well, I don't even think it's the bad boy. It's like she seems to have a very strong attraction to like damaged and or unavailable people.
Like every girl ever.
Your words, not mine.
No, she's. I think the whole point of her is to just kind of poke fun at the fact that like, no matter who you are, that like she is just like someone else is going to be more attractive to her, or she's just.
I thought it was just a joke.
No,
I thought it
I
was
mean,
like, hey,
there-
here's
nothing
the
is
guy,
just
and
a
then
joke.
Here's the other thing.
Okay,
like, but,
I've watched this so much.
Oh,
that
wait, no,
I
yeah,
start.
no. That's why we're doing a fucking podcast.
Right.
Yeah, of course you read. Yeah, you should read.
I
into
start.
this.
So I
You're thinking
analyze
more than the writers thought.
Right, but
But that's what Yeah, that's
who
that's
knows
like,
what the writers
It could
thought?
on
or-
their
There-
subconscious.
There's
it
so
could've been
many
some other
shows that I
things.
fanned out, like say, like especially like a intricate drama, like Battlestar or something like that, where I'll be like, oh my god, I have this whole thing about this episode or this scene or whatever, and then I'll read about it, and then the writer will be like, well, he was just mad. That's why he did that or whatever.
Really
I'm like,
like,
oh. There's like-
really like Bob Dylan and Hendrix, man.
No,
It's
it's
just-
double
it's
parked
like
that
that.
day.
I mean, there are actual college courses that you can take that analyze TV shows and like. So, I'm just saying that like, yeah, maybe it was just it's a joke or whatever.
Let me ask
but
you this question, Tom. Knowing my history with college, if I went to college and all I had to do was take courses about TV shows, do you think I'd make it? As much as my brain and just personality and lifestyle is scholastical, but so much of me loves TV. Like, do you think I could?
That's why one of the best classes I ever took is film as a literature. We watched movies and then talked about them like they were books.
Like they were books.
Oh yeah, we did. We had one of the senior year at Eds. We had one of those.
We find out the pine trees go the way of the poodle 800 years
Well,
ago.
wait,
Okay, here's the
wait,
thing.
wait,
What the
wait.
hell were those? in
Yeah,
the-
what were the trees down trees then?
Yeah.
I guess those were just mechanical.
Okay, I'm glad you guys.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be real
Yeah.
trees.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are probably synthetic
shit.
trees. So
So why couldn't you get a synthetic Xmas
why would you
tree?
want a...
But-
I mean, I knew that. Pete, you're dumb.
How can you cure global warming?
Oh,
but you
wait,
can't
wait,
stop
wait, wait,
pine
wait, wait.
trees from going extinct?
So you're saying you're aware of
Yeah, I
and-
knew it
and
the
a
whole time.
and a party to the inconsistencies in the storytelling, and now you're okay with it?
Which one makes me right? What do I say? Yes or no?
I realize that most of this podcast is Pete whining like a pig and Horchie being as lonely as a frog.
That was one of my favorite lines in the whole episode. And also, like, speaking of good lines, and then speaking of like Bender, like
There
once
were
in a while
good
having-
lines all over.
when they were at the comedy show or when they were walking out, and he's like, comedy, that's a dead art form. Now tragedy, that's hilarious. it's a good Bender line. Like, it's not
it is.
great, but you know.
I like when Hermes called Zoidberg a filthy crab. That was beautiful, and then slapped the glove on his face for his little feelers. Like, it was perfect.
That's one of my favorite parts of that
Yeah.
episode is when Zoidberg puts the glove over his
It's adorable.
face.
It's most of what Zoidberg does is adorable.
And the whole like Jamaican bobsledder gag thing was just great.
That was good, and
Yeah, I
especially
felt
back
like
then.
I learned something historic there. It was like, oh, I thought Cool Runnings was just a made-up movie, but apparently there's a real bobsled team.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Taking
That was like
both of those for facts,
what,
and neither one
you know,
of them.
also, same here. I'm probably doing the same thing. I've gotten through life pretty good on. There are so many. A couple years ago, I started watching the X-Files when I heard they were gonna. Or maybe it was before I heard they were gonna make a new one. But I started watching them through again, and I hadn't seen them. Some of the episodes I hadn't seen since they came out. I was in like 6th grade when it came out, and I watched that show religiously. And there was a bunch of stuff. You know, it's that time in the '90s that I've like told people that in a way that I thought I was citing some fact from that time period in the Clinton area. I'm like, well, you know, whether it's related to something that actually happened at that time or and I was like, oh, the only thing I've ever seen this on or whatever was the X-Files.
Yeah,
like, that's
your
you know,
only reference to that
Yes.
information is
yeah, it's just this episode of the
fictional
X-Files.
TV show.
Yeah,
I
You-
remember
you
the
assume
Jamaican
those
bobsled
writers
team.
checked their sources.
I hope so.
Disney
I mean, come on,
really,
like,
really like padded that whole story though for that.
About Cool
movie.
Runnings?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
but
of
it was
course, yeah.
it was so brilliant because I
There
forget
was
what
no
year
egg.
it was. It was like
his head did not look like a butt if you drew a
Dougie
line down
Doug
it.
was not
no
actually on the.
it was late 80s, early 90s, whenever it happened.
R.I.P. John Candy.
But no. And it was Like-
RPG John Candy? Is that a role playing game based on?
No, it's RG3 John Candy. R.I.P. to both.
It's
of
a
them.
rocket-propelled grenade, John Candy.
I'm sorry.
They just shoots John Candy
Yeah.
into your house and explodes like Uncle Buck and Who's Harry Crumb
Quarterback
all over
made
it.
of candy.
But I mean, the whole Jamaican bobsled thing, it was just so ridiculous on the face of it. And they're like, no, we're a real Olympic team. And then when you hear the stories about like what goes on in the Olympic Village, like those guys were brilliant. Like, oh yeah. We're gonna go to the Olympics. There's no chance we're ever like we're not gonna win. We probably won't even finish the race. We'll get done and we're just gonna party with all the athletes.
Man, imagine going down that like track in a bobsled super stoned. It's probably super freaky.
Or upside down, or without a bobsled.
And that was one of my that. By the way,
Or
that's
asleep like Farnsworth.
Did he
Wait,
actually
wait,
go on the bobsled thing?
Oh, you
was
mean
saying, like,
in his
Oh,
character?
just-
of,
yeah.
yeah. But that's also a great Fry moment too. Just in this episode, not one of my favorite Fry moments of all, but just in that episode of him just like, what the hell, and then just throws himself down. Could be, but also that moment like so encapsulates Fry. Just he's like, oh, can I do this like dumb thing because I enjoy life and I want to have fun and when he throws
to
himself
jump
into,
down the
Yeah.
bobsled thing? I would do that. That's like a
water slide on ice.
Ice water slide.
Yeah. But he's obliging himself to be that character, just like the writers are obliging us to have him be that
Yeah.
character.
How many of those
And-
Charlie Brown kids do you
good.
think died when Bender fell through the ice?
All of them.
Half of them at
All
least.
of no, all of them.
Absolutely
All of them. They all either died of hypothermia or drowned.
That's beautiful.
I'm sorry. Did you notice though? Like it was so generic, but there was at least one that was like, "Oh, that's Pigpen."
Yeah, no, it was great though. Like they let you know, like they probably just for likeness rights made it different enough that they could just get away with like, all right, and then this character's kind of dusty. Has nothing to do with
And then Bender was actually dented afterwards. That was interesting that he showed some actual physicality.
Everyone was
A little banged up.
injured from skiing. Does that happen? I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally like people die skiing because it's like
Yeah, Sonny
here's
Bono.
here's something slippery. Put it on this other slippery incline with a bunch of obstacles in it, and go real fast and try not to run into something.
Yep. Sonny Bono could have used trees down.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's totally true.
But
Aw.
I could totally go for a super soaker of cognac. And I think
Oh yeah, I was wondering.
if we get around to doing a live episode, that might have to be a part of it.
I thought all about that, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go to the store.
a good
and I'm
idea.
gonna buy cognac, and then I'm just gonna come in here with the podcast and be like, I got this.
You know what? I don't think I've ever had cognac before.
Ah.
What's it like? What would you compare it to of other stuff?
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Whiskey,
Like a
like
whiskey,
whiskey,
Scotch
brandy, like just
Yeah.
it's very warm
Is it
and like.
is it more
sweet
Jack or
and-
more Jameson?
It depends. It depends the type of brandy you get.
Is it good?
Or I mean,
Do you guys like it?
cognac that you get? I really like it.
My exposure's limited, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
How many
I know.
times did the
Hennessy?
professor get naked in that, flaunting our 20th
Twice.
century notions of modesty?
I hope one day that we get to that point where.
No, man. No. I don't want it to be like the Ferengi planet. I want it to be like I like the mystery. I like. Thank
That's
God.
true.
Thank God for American. Who were the shitty people that moved here and now everything's cloistered and what's that group?
Mormons?
No, originally the
Quakers?
Protestant? Or no, the
P
Puritans?
I'm just waiting for you to start naming off like really offensive names. Like,
The Russians, the Africans,
the Chinese? No.
You know
the Nicaraguans? No.
Samoans. It was
The Samoans, the angry ones.
Before, all right, so we're like, I don't know, around halfway through the episode. I'm trying to get to asking this earlier. I like to ask everybody that's on the podcast what their relationship with Futurama is,
What their
and
social
where-
security number, mother's maiden name, and birth date is too.
and where they were on August 7th, 1989. No, but
1989.
Okay, so this show came out in 1999.
Yeah, originally.
Did you? Oh, the first question is: did you start watching it right away, or was it something you came into later?
Yeah,
or-
I started
'cause
watching
I know you're a
right
fan.
away 'cause
Like,
it
were you a
was-
fan right
yeah,
away?
it was after the Simpsons episodes
Okay,
right
that's
away.
pretty
Or was
much
it
for most of us. No, it was
before.
before
after?
what?
It
Before
was
Simpsons?
before. It
Yeah, it was before.
Always
So
before.
you'd wait to watch the Simpsons.
Oh yeah,
after.
yeah. Same thing with most people that we've had on, and with most of us is like, we were Simpsons fans, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Matt Groening's gonna have this this other
Yeah.
show.
thought
So
it
so
was a
where
really
were
good-
you at that time? Like how old were you, and what were you up to when that came out?
I
Like
don't know, what year was that?
99.
99.
This specific episode aired December 12th, 1999.
So we're still
Yeah,
1999.
so I'd be about a freshman. Yeah, I think about a freshman
Okay.
in high school, so that makes sense.
right
what
after
what
our
year was the
birthday.
so you guys
pause
are the
in it?
same class, right?
What year did you
Was
graduate?
03.
A year behind me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so maybe 8th grade.
And that's a perfect age for like a show like this to come out. Like I was a junior, so
Yeah.
just like, I mean, you can appreciate it at any age, even if you were 100 years old, like Pete. But like, being a fan of The Simpsons and it coming out when we were, pretty young, and then like this coming out right in like that the teenage where you're like can just super appreciate like some.
Did you, Ryan? when this came out, were you immediately hooked, or was it a thing that like?
Yeah, I think
You
when
watched
it came out, it
before
was
The
at that point in The
Simpsons.
Simpsons where The Simpsons was not stale. They still had
They were getting
plenty
there,
of great
yeah.
episodes, but it was a nice new like trope, as you said. Instead of going through The Simpsons, it was nice to have like that more of just like the sci-fi realm and jokes you could make, and
That was going to be my next question.
yeah.
is
So
that,
every
like,
episode could kind of play on some previous sci-fi theme.
the Futurama to me is like, of all the Treehouse of Horrors episodes that I loved on The Simpsons, which were usually my favorites, where they could just like
Yeah.
fuck with reality and have, it could be a science fiction thing, a horror thing, but like all these things could happen. Where it's the year 3000 in Futurama, and except for characters just dying, like at the end of like a Treehouse of Horrors, where they could just die and then do another one. You could do just about anything. Like,
Yeah,
they could, and
it was like
that's
the same way for the writers to kind of break off and have that kind of creative
Yeah.
freedom outside of just
instead
The
of here's this
Simpsons.
family, it's kind of reality based. Once in a while some like ridiculous thing would happen on The Simpsons, but for the most part,
I have to. I'm sorry to cut
Pete.
in here right now. I have to
Kill
ask
someone.
Pete something. We see a picture of Bender's mother. How did that make you feel?
I thought it was a silly gag that she was like an industrial robot and not really anthropomorphized, but I didn't give it much thought beyond that. I mean,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Clearly robots.
I think that was go ahead.
They don't copulate and have sexual reproduction like living organisms do. So it makes me
Really?
wonder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
At
he's
this point in the series, yes, he is
Oh,
correct.
yeah, I mean,
so it makes me wonder how does one robot trace its lineage from another? Is it purely a mechanical design? Is it like some of his integral software was derived from his mother's
that
integral
would-
software?
yeah,
that's
you'd
what I would
think
think
his
of.
mom would be just the zeros and the ones.
Yeah.
like other things they've looked at, or like the circuit,
Or like an earlier model,
Not
like,
what physically put him together.
Well,
but-
that would
or
just
that-
be like an assembly line and a robot arm.
yeah, or
feel like
that.
that
I
would
think
be
that
the
works.
picture
I
of
think
his
that
mom.
all of those would work as far as like if you were gonna have his parents. I think that's a good. Bender's
It's
origin
feasible. It's not like a
contradicts itself,
magic
like,
chest cavity. It makes sense.
Good. I'm glad you're. You know what? Because I don't know. I would have been ready to argue with about that, but at the same time, like I feel like at some point, maybe around season 3, I think I'm gonna get tired and just go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
when you
Did they, or can you find this on Infosphere? Did they have the recipe for Fry's dad's bourbon and ice cubes eggnog?
I think it's just bourbon and ice cream.
One part
I'd like some
bourbon.
of that.
one part.
It did sound delicious.
Yeah, I did.
It's like that old Polish joke that the lady that had the recipe for ice cube died, so no one knows how to make them.
Disclaimer: Tom and I are Polish, and Tom is allowed to make that joke, and I'm allowed to do this. Yeah,
I-
not you guys.
I'm not Polish, but I'm thoroughly offended.
Hermes yells Xmas, Xmas after Fry gets all sad, and they get all the cards and everything, and then it.
Oh, the cards. Zoidberg's cousin
Card.
Zoidfarb.
Fucking best. One of my favorite. The comedians of today could learn a thing or two from this.
Now
card.
that's hubris. I loved it. I cannot get
Today's
enough of Zoidberg.
comedians. Yeah, and
I can't.
He's becoming more Zoidberg at this point. Like,
Yes.
I never realized
just that dad humor, that constant.
But if anything,
that
this
just
is
like
his episode.
watching all the pathetic like moments with him, and just like, and we're not even there yet. Like, it's not even at that thing where Zoidberg becomes like the punching bag or like the. But
He's already
he
been a
is.
punching bag.
It's
But
started- yeah.
as I
it's
just
starting. But I mean,
as I said, this is his episode. He
had the stuff on the ski lift,
yes,
and then the bobsled, and then the Zoidfarb.
and as we'll get to the rest of it. But what I was getting to with the actual Christmas cards and everything, that is the point where that's a very the whole Leela storyline. That's a big thing. Like they
What?
haven't really gone into the fact that
you
she
did them
feels
just saying
she's an
that.
orphan.
Yeah, and this
that
is the whether they knew it ahead of time or not. You know, if they were gonna do that storyline.
they did.
this is-
because
okay.
we saw
Oh, yeah,
her
they had
parents in
Yeah,
that
but-
other episode.
But was that intentional?
it's all
Yeah,
yes,
and they've already
yes.
been to the sewer, and I was wondering that too, because they've already gone to the sewer.
And they were
world,
in
she
that-
didn't say anything about like, oh, this is where I grew up.
She didn't.
No,
know.
She doesn't know yet. She thinks
But
she's
all,
an
her
alien.
whole all of her Happy
she grew
Memories
up
books
down
were
there. She
depressing
had-
and sad.
No.
Her
When she was,
prom date.
they took her to the
There's no one
orphanarium
there.
when she
No,
was a
they
baby.
did when she was
Yeah,
a baby,
and then
right.
there's that thing later that you're probably thinking of where her parents remind her or tell her about how like they kept giving her all this stuff like through
Yeah,
the
through the
sewer and like
grates.
At this point, all we know is that she's an alien. And
and it's really cool that they set that up, that they were like
the reason why I
'cause-
bring this up is because Pete is somebody that hasn't watched this in a while. So he's like kind of developing
I'm
the
digesting them
storyline
one
a
at a
I'm
little
time.
going
bit.
Yeah.
through it. Yeah, I'm going through
And
it again.
then you also introduce Fry's alternate dilemma where it's like he's had stuff like that and now it's gone.
Yeah.
So he's upset about that where she's upset never having that. And he is one that like realizes that it's like at least I had that.
And you know what?
And she
this
never
episode,
had
that
that.
whole thing with that, and Fry, like, kind of proving Sean's point last week. One of the reasons Fry is a likable character is deep down he's a good guy, you know, like, and that's
Yeah, and he's sweet. and-
yeah, exactly. He's yeah.
When they cut to the shot of Amy tangled in the Christmas lights, do you think that was to reinforce that she's a big klutz, or was that some sort of fashion statement?
No, klutz. How many episodes has she slipped on something?
Oh, yeah,
and
there's
fallen
a lot of,
in?
like-
Yeah, and Leela being like the tough problem solver and
And then
pretty
as much as
saving the day every episode.
she's that character, she also has a lot of like she has a lot of funny moments too, like she'll either of her like getting kind of like knocked down a peg a little, or she'll think she's right and then have like she gets a couple Fry moments here and there where she says something dumb or does something dumb, or she'll have a moment where she gets into a situation that's just funny or whatever, you know, like
Bender goes to the liquor kitchen, right?
Yes.
And there's a whole bunch of homeless robots.
Yes.
Are those robots just programmed to be homeless? Are they like? Are they just there?
Are
Like
they performing
like,
their function?
how? Why are there homeless robots?
Well, okay, so let's look at it from an economic perspective. The reason that a lot of people
I'm actually excited to hear this.
a lot of people become homeless is maybe their jobs get downsized
Yeah.
or outsized or whatever, and then
Which
they
could
lose
happen to
their
a robot.
incomes. Right. So you're a robot. You do whatever you're programmed to do, and all of a sudden, well, your robot model, X314, and a couple years later, now there's robot X317 that does everything you do and 3 times as
It
more
doesn't have
and
stupid
twice
springs
as
in
fast.
the middle of it
Yeah.
that annoy people.
Yeah, that squeak. So we don't need you anymore, robot. It's off to the
Yeah.
Jawas with you.
In 1,000 years, that obsolescence might be like a week-long span. before
Yeah.
robots be thrown
the
out.
best part is there's a whole episode talking about
Oh, yeah,
that.
yeah.
I just like. I mean, Tom, you effectively work in a liquor kitchen. I
I
mean, it's
do.
not free. I wish it was, but that's what comes in. People
And you
come
know
in
what?
and get fixed.
Tinny Tim never gets his fill. And then another Bender line. It's just like, oh, poor kid. And he laughs.
reoccurring character. Is this the first time we meet Tinny
Yeah,
Tim?
yeah, Tinny
Yeah.
Tim.
He's great, and actually, I think some of his best moments were just in this. The food's not what matters. I'm so hungry. Like,
Is there anywhere we could get like a booze saves neon sign?
I'm sure.
That would be
I'm
nice.
sure. Like, if there's any listeners out there who can make a neon sign, because it's expensive. Neon signs are expensive.
I know.
Yeah.
I tried to get one
The
made.
company around here that makes neon signs,
Probably
they
like
can't
right.
even maintain fixing their neon sign to promote them.
Really?
It's
Oh,
on, it's
the one on the
on the way
shoreway?
to Beachland.
Neon eyes here.
They're always looking for help. I like how as it gets into the Santa Claus part of the story, Fry just completely disregards everyone's warnings about it.
Yeah, and
He's like-
everyone lets him go.
Yeah.
He's thinking about Leela, though. He wants to go out and get her a present. So he's
Oh, yeah.
putting his love for Leela over
But
there.
they're going, you're going to get killed. Like, you have to be back before dark or you will get killed.
If you woke up in 1,000 years and was told Christmas is like,
Christmas isn't a
Terrible.
thing anymore. It's Xmas.
right, but now it's Xmas.
Yeah.
And you wanted to go out for the love of your life, let's just say it's...
what were you about to say, Ryan?
What was I about to say? What were we talking about?
Santa Claus. We're on to Santa Claus now.
Santa Claus.
Would I?
Oh,
would
he
you,
was
yeah.
about to
would
go
you
out
go
when
out for the love of your life
Yeah, well,
and risk
also,
death?
If you're going out and you're afraid of Santa Claus, you have, I have a 1 in billions chance that Santa Claus is paying attention to someone else right now.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Which is kind of a. I didn't even think about that. Like, oh, pretty efficient
He
that
always
he was
finds
there.
them. He's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
Maybe because
In the
there's
world,
only-
not just
That
New
is
York,
like
not just New York, but in the world.
But maybe
Yeah,
that's because
in the
Fry
world.
was literally the only person.
He might have
out
been.
walking
That's true, though. He
around,
might have
so
been the
there's
because he
Santa.
was.
Yeah.
The three of them
Every
were the only
street
ones
in
that
the
were.
world is closed.
Yeah, and he didn't know that. Like, he didn't take it seriously like everybody else.
So he winds up in Joe's Ark Pet Store, formerly Noah's Ark Shoe Store, which is that's one of those things. It's like such a bizarre non sequitur, like that.
Yes.
that I really
But
like.
great.
That's like a Simpsons joke.
Well done.
And then there's the one-eared rabbit from Granny,
Well, right. So then it's almost like a
Life is Hell or whatever. Is that what it was called?
Yes.
Well, it's almost like
Life in
when
Hell.
when they found Nibbler, when they were on that planet getting all the endangered animals, because there's all the weird stuff in there, like the Santa's little helper, but with like 10 legs. It was like the centipede greyhound. Like the dog in the pen
And then
was Santa's little
behind
helper.
him, when Fry's looking at the dog, is a sign that says,
Snake grab bag.
no, it was dogs, $5 per leg or something
Oh.
like that.
And then
I
the tiny giraffe in the bird cage.
Okay.
Which is Tom's favorite fucking
yeah.
thing ever.
If I would ever get a Futurama tattoo, it would either be that tiny giraffe
in
in,
the
that
cage.
cage
Uh-huh.
or the giraffe from a much future episode where he's being pulled by people because giraffes rule the world as they go. Like in the near future or whatever, giraffes rule the world.
Hey, speaking of which, if Ryan, like, if you just on the spot right now, like, without time to actually think about it, but which you don't, we have a tattoo artist around the corner. Kaplan's around the corner. If you could, if you
He's
were gonna
waiting
get
out in the back bushes with a tattoo.
if you were gonna get a Futurama tattoo,
Is it going to be an electric
Like,
electric snail or
if
a
you
stink
had to
lizard?
answer right now without thinking about it, what would you get?
1 parrot or 500 lizards?
That's a different question.
I could buy 500 lizards.
Girls like swarms of things.
Mine would be when I was asked that before, and I without thinking of it, and I haven't given time to think of it more since then. Was Zoidberg in front of that lonely cupcake with the one candle in it on his birthday? But like, if that helps, if you could think of even a character and just like, well, then just this character, and I don't know what I'd have them doing or whatever.
Yeah, or just like Hermes.
Yeah.
breaking his back on the.
And on that note, not only is the professor still naked, Hermes is like, bare ass naked too.
And that chair is just designed perfectly
Yeah.
to show his butt in there.
But like, can you imagine how not only I think, uncomfortable, but also smelly and odd it would be if we were to take that whole,
What if you were a
those futuristic notions of modesty.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of, you know what? Have you ever seen that episode of Rugrats where Chucky realizes that it's a good idea to wear clothes when he has like a nudist phase?
No.
No? We were talking about Fry learning about Santa Claus. He had one of my favorite lines in the episode when somebody's like, oh, Fry doesn't know about Santa Claus. And he's like, oh, I know about Santa Claus. And then he winks at the professor. But anyways, he's at the pet store. He's looking at the different weird pets. Okay. Nope, nothing. Go ahead. Somebody else.
The giraffe in the cage.
Giraffe in the cage.
He buys
dog.
the parrot,
Oh yeah,
which he's
parrot,
able
the
to.
lizards.
I did not
that parrot
write.
was annoying as shit.
I
that
did
parrot
not.
was more annoying than
That's
Iago
Frank
from-
Welker too.
Is it?
I did not write down that Fry is so dumb in my notes this episode, but I did write that Fry is as smart as a parrot.
You met my equal.
yeah. That was a great one too. Yeah.
And so they really kind of jump around a little bit, but what another one of those things that I thought was kind of silly is when he climbs up on the digital clock.
Well, the banana peel sign.
I didn't see the banana peel sign.
When he opens
Oh,
up
dude, yeah.
the door to like get out on the ledge.
Dangerous
Yeah.
ledge,
It
no
says-
banana peel.
Yes. Like, it's such a dumb. Just like that's like a
It's a
naked
great-
gun
it's a-
joke.
Yeah, it's a good a cartoon made by a bunch of fans of cartoons, like throwing stuff like that in there. Hey, can somebody tell me why I wrote down drowning puppies?
No.
The
Something with Leela, and there's like
dogs.
there's like unless the puppies were drowning or
Dogs for
something. Doesn't
sale?
Hermes say something?
I don't remember.
No, that is.
said-
Were you
All
just
right.
thinking about
You
work?
said there were dog legs for sale. Maybe you're thinking.
No,
of
no,
ways-
it was
Where
something-
what
Dogs
is
for sale.
before and after your
All
notes right now?
I already erased the before. The after is I know about Santa Claus, so it's before that. It's something. It's like, how do all four of us not remember this? But I managed to take a note of this.
It autocorrect. I think it autocorrects.
No. It was okay. Well, here's what I remember. But I thought somebody else would jump in on it. Something about like, like Leela's is sad about something drowning puppies. Well, or they'd have to be really cute or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like a line in there, like.
No. Fry falls off the clock and he grabs onto the digital.
Totally great.
Yeah, that was great, and it's like, God, Back to the Future did it, but I feel like that's another classic film scene where the guy's hanging from the clock tower, and you're like, oh no, the clock's gonna go around, but then the fact that he
it's the
jumps
future,
and
so
slips
it's
through
a
the other
digital
ones.
Clock.
The digital clock is
But the digital clock you can still hold on to.
But then Leela catches him, so it's all
Why
everybody's
is she?
safe.
How did she just show up there? I don't
'Cause she's
get
a
that.
kick- Kick-ass
90 floors,
heroine.
Yeah, 90
Yeah.
floors up.
Hey, she's Leela, and she was
Yeah.
looking for him.
Maybe
Yeah.
she has him
She
chipped.
didn't want him to get
Maybe.
killed by
that would seem like
Santa
something she
Claus.
would do.
Yeah.
You know?
It would make sense.
This is the only
And actually, first episode of the series, it's about
her saving.
her chipping him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not?
Chipping now.
He does
It-
get
and
in his
it was
hand,
her
right?
profession
Yeah, it was
before,
in his
so-
hand.
And here's where we get introduced to Robot Santa. And I was trying to figure out through the whole episode who it is. And when I figured out that it was John Goodman by looking it up,
Oh wow.
And it's
didn't
so
place
sad
that
that
at
it's
all.
the only episode
I
with
know.
with Robot Santa Claus that it's John Goodman.
so in the future it's someone
it's
else?
John DiMaggio.
Yeah.
The rest of
Oh.
He does.
He-
okay. He does fine. He's great.
It's
Whatever.
fine, but like I like some of the
John
the
Goodman
way
is one of my favorite actors
Yes,
of all time.
and
He's like a
Love
not
John
dead
Goodman.
John Candy or a not dead Phil Hartman.
No,
Absolutely.
no, but
I
yeah,
wonder how
no,
much
yeah.
they would compete if John Candy were still alive.
and his
Oh,
just
shit.
the way he
I wonder if
delivers.
John Candy would be doing like Robin Williams stuff. Not now, because shit, damn it. I wonder if or before his demise, I wonder if John Candy would have.
Robin Williams was doing John Candy stuff, and now if John Candy came back, he could be doing Robin
John Goodman
Williams.
has the whole
and they're
market
both,
cornered.
but they're
No, but I
both
mean, like-
doing what's that guy's name? John Belushi. They're both doing John Belushi impressions.
No.
Yeah,
And,
you're
like,
right.
let
like-
me say this. I
hang
bet,
on, just
I bet John Candy would be doing a lot of dramatic stuff. now.
theater of the mind. Imagine John Candy in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be sublime.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
I mean, like, because he could just totally become.
it would only work if he didn't have any work for like 20 years. and
No,
then,
no,
like,
no,
came
no,
back,
no. He
like-
kind of
No.
disappeared like Eddie Murphy into.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Disney films for kids.
Oh yeah, that
and make
he
a
was
shitload
probably-
of
he was
money,
probably
but
gonna do
I'm
that.
gonna grind all my edge off, and then just show up as like the big bad guy in a Tarantino film.
I would like that.
That would
yeah,
be
that
so
would be awesome.
wonderful.
It would kind of be like with the in
when Bryan Cranston started playing Walter White in Breaking Bad, I mean, his last visible role was Hal on Malcolm in the Middle.
totally
And so when
Which is
that
the
first came out,
hammy-
you're just like the goofy dad.
Yeah, the
And
hand character.
that show was like Malcolm in the Middle was a really, really funny show.
Really good show.
And like I was probably older than the target demographic. It was, I mean, I guess it was like a family show, and I had not yet had a family, but I would still enjoy watching episodes of that show, and he was really, really good on it.
yeah.
So then to see him turn up in this just dark as hell drama and pull it off.
Did you ever see the
Yeah.
scene that they filmed where Hal wakes up in bed and realized that Breaking Bad was
Yeah.
all like a bad nightmare?
like they did on Newhart.
Oh yeah, that was a Newhart reference. So I found it. It's Linda, the newscaster, Morbo's
Yeah.
co-caster.
Oh,
Yes. Homeless robots, too poor to even afford basic alcohol needed to fuel their circuits. Is there anything sadder? Only drowning puppies, and it would have to be a lot of them.
there you go.
Yeah, now I remember. Sure. That was a good joke.
Redeemed.
Robot Santa Claus is like attacking Leela and Fry, and he's just like, "But did you ever think about dear old Zoidberg?" No, I swear I didn't.
They were naughty for disregarding each other's feelings. And then and then like another just whole side jag with Bender and the robots go caroling, and they totally like shake that
Hattie
lady down.
Hattie McDougal.
Yeah, for all of her
Yeah.
her booze, and then they're like, "Get her purse" when they get thrown out.
Clockwork
I don't-
Orange
they
style
were-
almost.
Oh, that's what it was. I was like, what did that remind me of? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah. The only Christmas story that absolutely touches my heart so much.
Christmas shoes. Yes?
Well, yes. besides that, The Gift of the Magi, and they make fun of that in this with the combs, and I love
Oh, yeah.
that. But I think that is just like a.
Do you remember when we lived together, all those Christmases that you got me a present, and then ironically, I didn't get you anything?
Yes.
Yeah, I like
Then that happened for
that,
5 years.
that Amy and Hermes both went completely bald to get combs, and then I mean Zoidberg with the mixed matched wig of both their hair was awesome. It was fantastic. And he had his fancy new combs.
I like to think that he went into the wig store and was like, you know, like I like that wig a lot, and I like that wig a lot. Is there any way you can combine those together?
Why not both? When I forget what it was. There's something where there was some action moment going on, or Santa was about to explode, and then Zoidberg was still like pogoing in the
Yeah.
background. That was great.
I wrote my notes say, Zoidberg gets a pogo stick and saves the day.
I have Zoidberg saves the day
Oh, yeah,
too.
which was weird. Like I feel like that doesn't happen too often, where Zoidberg gets to do something heroic or like have a, like a.
No, he's
cool-
usually just the schlubby sad sack, but having
One episode a year, Zoidberg is okay. He can be the hero, right?
Yeah. That's
everything's
fair.
coming up Zoidberg.
And he doesn't have to do much. He just goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then he, like,
Wait,
He was probably bouncing around, and then finally he was like, "Oh, if I cut this," and then he jumped
which,
up.
by the way, okay, Pete, if you're gonna, by the way, Ryan, Pete, every episode, he looks for all these things that are just funny things in the episode. Like there's moments in Futurama.
mostly
where
I
it's
just
like,
have a problem with magical robots. I don't have a problem with magic, and I don't have a
get
problem
it.
with
reality,
robots.
even though it's a futuristic.
I mean, I
cartoon.
get it because the show does do things that, like especially in future episodes where it's like, oh, well, this works, this time travel thing works because this, and this, and you're like, wow, that blew me away. What a well-written thing.
Well, yeah.
It's called retconning.
Like, why would pine trees go extinct? Wouldn't they just bring them back?
Yeah, well, okay, exactly. Yeah,
Like he's
I
the
mean,
professor.
you could look
the professor.
for
Or if
not
they
even the
clearly
professor, but
have
just like, I mean, that
pine
technology at
trees that
time.
can raise and lower at the at voice commands, then why couldn't they just replicate those for Christmas trees? I'm sorry, for Xmas trees.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
going to the
So you
floor.
could say that about anything. The point is that you shouldn't. But what were we talking about?
What else are you going to talk about, though?
Futurama.
No. What
You were
brought
going to
up a-
chastise me for something, and you completely derailed yourself. So chalk one up as a win. Did you notice when they were using the Xmas tree as a battering ram, and you see them walking across with it to batter the gate shut?
Yeah.
That the professor was just holding on and not walking.
No.
Like he was just,
That's
he
great.
was just
Yeah,
riding on it.
That's very professory. That reminds me. That's what it was. I had a huge problem with, and it's like, all right, well, we wrote all these funny jokes. Here's the episode. We just need it to end. So Santa Claus, he's shaking like a bowl full of nitroglycerin. Is he going to blow up and die? Like, I don't understand what was going to happen.
He's Santa Claus.
But what was going to... They were like, he's going to blow, and they put him
Yeah.
there, and then an explosion happens, and him and the reindeer fly out. What exploded? Not him. Like, did he shoot
Maybe he had a
something
plate
out of
that
his butt?
came
Maybe
out
it
or
all
something.
came out of
Maybe
his
he's
butt,
strong
and he
enough that it
shot
just-
away.
Is that
goes
but is that
out.
what it is? Like, okay, so something, it was gonna be like an explosion in him that was gonna like shoot out. Like, that's kind of okay. That's what I pictured it as. Here's my problem. That was like a little problem. He's not like nothing like this ever happens to any of the robots in Futurama, but he's a robot, and the open cord from the Christmas lights, the Xmas lights hit him, and that's what takes him down. Like, it was,
Yeah, you'd think they'd be grounded.
well,
Well, it would be
in
about
future.
completing the circuit. So if it was both ends of the cord and you had a hot and a ground wire on it, then it would hit the electricity. But I mean,
But
this,
still,
but
should
this is a
that amount of
universe.
electricity
Both.
bother
This is a universe where
a killer robot that
and
has been
refrigerator
killing people
magnet
forever?
will totally flip Bender out. So
But they also electrocuted the Santa Claus robot, but then somehow the two reindeers also fell back into the chimney also.
the
Like,
the
everyone got
reindeers
shot.
could have
Yeah.
been controlled by the Santa bot. So when he went haywire, it may have jacked them up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You know,
Damn science.
they're not.
You win
They're probably
again.
not autonomous. They're probably like an extension of the Santa Claus
Win
AI.
again. I hated, God, that end song. The Santa Claus
dude,
gunning
look
you
here,
down.
Ryan, what is
When-
my last note say? I erased most of them.
Shitty song.
Shitty
yeah.
song.
Just
Yeah.
jumping back a little bit. When the John Goodman Santa robot said "ho ho ho,"
When he first appeared.
yeah, did it remind you like it sounded like he was doing the "ho ho ho" from A Christmas Story?
Yeah, it did.
Like
Yeah.
very much.
Definitely.
Yeah, you go, well, yeah, it's Santa, but it was just like there's that disdainful.
He has a
tone
lot
in
of
it.
like heavy breathing in the way he does that Santa Claus.
Yeah.
When he's writing on his list.
Oh yeah.
It's just nothing but like breathing. It's like what I forget what it.
It's
Did I write down?
blaming an orphan or framing
Yeah,
an orphan.
framing an
frame-
orphan.
F R A and like
I like that Bender,
Yeah.
being Bender, was the first one to go like bye, and then the other robots like, and then Leo leaves and Fry's like, oh, like,
Yeah, and that's the way you could defeat him. Just keep doing bad things.
Yeah, I know those
Keep
guys.
writing down his book.
they don't have anything.
Just ended up being a traditional holiday surrounded by robots and monsters and old people.
I like that Bender serves the bird, and he's like, I found it on the street, just like all the food I cooked for you guys.
It was pretty like jacked up before he got it, though. I mean,
I got
that-
hit by
that-
a tow missile.
yeah, that tow missile like really
Bad
just
joke.
vaporized
Bad
it.
joke.
That I
Stupid
wrote
joke.
that
I mean, I
down,
get it,
too.
but fuck you. That's a,
Do you want
I
to
don't have
promote
anything to
anything,
say.
Ryan? Do you want to have people
Love,
follow you on?
being nice to people. Whatever you'd.
Do you want to pick a candidate right now and go on record to say who you're
Well,
voting
well,
for?
wait.
Ryan,
So-
this could be what
wait.
turns the tide.
Before we cut it all off, this is a question we started
Choose
asking
wisely.
people as of a
Yes.
few episodes ago. What Futurama character would you like to see a spin-off of, and why?
Yeah, I think probably Zap Brannigan, especially Zach Brannigan or Zap?
Zap.
Brannigan?
Zap.
Yeah.
Zachary
Especially now.
Brannigan.
Zachary
yeah, that would be it.
Zappery. Zappery.
Played by Zach Braff.
That's a solid answer.
Yeah, no, that would be
Okay,
a good show.
but why?
100%.
What would you expect that show to be about?
I think he probably has like the most characterization to use.
I feel
And
like
has,
he
like,
would
the
develop
biggest-
a lot, right?
Yeah, he is the biggest entry into like the universe outside of like one of the other characters.
There's a lot going on that there could
Yeah,
be so
you
much
could see
about
the
his
government
show. Yeah.
federation
Yep.
side of
Mhm.
things and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
it
would
worked
be
out
good.
so well for Joey after Friends.
Yeah, that's the argument that I put up. But then when Bill Squire was on, he made a convincing case for that too. So I won't poo-poo
No,
Zap Brannigan
it
right
could
out
be
of hand.
It would have to be the right type of writers. Like they would have to write it to be the good Zap Brannigan.
All right,
and
everybody,
not just
everybody,
be-
one guess as to what the name of the Zap Brannigan spinoff would be called. Pete,
Well, it
or
depends.
whoever go first. Whoever.
No,
somebody say
so
something.
what
Here
I
you
what I was
go.
gonna say is on Brannigan Begin Again in that episode when him and Kiff were doing the Midnight Cowboy thing. Like I might like to see a Zap Brannigan after he's been decommissioned, and what him and Kiff becoming like an odd couple sort of thing are in their
Yeah,
day-to-day
becoming like a-
mundanity.
Oh, yeah.
A retired
That'd be-
Han Solo.
Or
Yeah.
that could be like a whole season or something.
Yeah.
First thing I thought of, Brannigan's Law.
Remember when we tried to come up with title cards to show at the end of our movie, like
what we
and-
were up to afterwards? Yeah, that
yeah,
could work out.
we're not good at thinking on the spot.
Yeah, we're not improv.
No, we're very slow. And
It's all
dumb.
no but over here.
Yeah.
If you want to find we followers,
Do you want
or
people
whatever,
to find you on the internet?
If you
At
want
all?
to find Ryan
I'm on
Uhl,
Instagram and Facebook. You can find me at those places.
That
what
is-
would
that
what
is
would your
Ryan
handles
Uhl.
be?
That would be Ryan Uhl on each one.
that is
spell that.
R
OOL?
RyanUhl.
Q.
That's
Don't accidentally look
On
up
both
UHF.
Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, see,
and
that
on
would
Facebook.
you should change
Not
your
on
last
Twitter
name to
yet.
UHF.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Well, dude, thank you so much for being on this episode. This was a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
thanks for
And
having me.
Thanks everybody for listening. Give us a call at 216.
438-1077.
wait, I got it. I think I can finally.
You-
I'm gonna come up with a. All right.
You can email us at slurmcastpod at
that's important. Do that
gmail.com.
first, Yeah.
Please review us on iTunes. We're going to shamelessly ask you to do that for the next
know what?
few episodes.
Wait, you had something.
Yeah.
You had something.
Oh, Hey everybody, slurm out, slurm your face, fuck dick.